Welcome to ReasonExpert.com's YouTube channel. I am Fretless Fingers, and this is the Rack and Review, a comprehensive look into propeller heads, Reason devices, and refills. Today we will be looking at DNA Labs' Hydronexius Workstation ROM, an instrument device commonly referred to incorrectly as a synth. Now, I must be frank about my initial opinion of the device. I was excited seeing the design renders and the thought of another large hardcore device, and judging from the beta testers' praise, that's for you, Enoch, it seemed to be one of the next big sounds for Reason. The realization that this was not a synthesis device, but an instrument playback device with read-only memory was a real blow to my expectations. When it came to this particular release, I wondered why it wasn't a refill, and what exactly warrants the development of a full-fledged playback device, and with a few filters and effects. Well, this was my initial bias, something I can accept and understand. And to properly look into the device and judge it for its merit, I had to put that aside and judge specifically on its musical abilities. And this leads us to the rating system. As for myself, I normally decide the value of a device using only a few points. Here, it's been expanded and will be used as a star system from 1 to 5. We will be evaluating based on functionality, workflow, uniqueness, aesthetics, and price value. So going in raw and simple and removing any expectations, I found this as a high-end sample playback device. With over 105 individual instrument sets, you have a lot of starting points to choose from when it comes to sound, along with the polyglide and vibrato for some added variation at the start. To add some warmth to your sound, you can use the AHD or analog harmonic distortion with its 5 different algorithms. The device also features 2 filters with 6 modes, LFO and ADSR modulation, and a novel approach to the overall implementation, which I will address more specifically in the unique section. The device also features a spatial imager allowing you to control the stereo field via the 21 millisecond stereo delay imaging knob. Finally, you have 4 effects, 2 of which have a number of in-depth controls. The reverb and delay come with a number of ways to shape the sound, and the phaser and chorus effects are available as a simple mix knob adjacent to the volume control. All of this does a fairly good, if not impressive job, but I would prefer to have more options in terms of controls for the phaser and chorus in particular. The back options for this device are, to put it lightly, lacking. You get an outline of the device's audio flow, and a sequencer gate and CV note in, and your stereo audio out, and that's it. Despite all the lovely stuff available on the front, the trademark and most prominent feature for Reason's devices has been ignored. There are no CV outs or ins for control of parameters of the device itself. This is a tragedy to itself, but coupled with the missed opportunity for audio breakouts for each of the filters, it kinda hurts my whole feelings about the whole thing. Now, the device has a lot going for it in a small package, and stands very well with all the other things in the rack. With that said, the lack of rear rack options truly misses one of the things that makes Reason stand out from the competition. With that said, I feel most of these things can be fixed with an update, and if so, I would be willing to change my scoring here, but for now, it remains a half star. Despite my initial thoughts, the workflow really isn't bad. The device takes a top-to-bottom approach for the audio signal. The most used features that work together are typically laid out adjacently, even when separated by their control groups, such as the X and Y filter pitch adjustments. The workflow really comes together and is more apparent when you're actually designing from scratch, something this device honestly excels at. The entire flow pushes creativity with little resistance and doesn't require a lot of forward thinking in order to execute ideas. The only thing that I feel could be truly improved is the placement of the volume, chorus, and phaser knobs in order to keep the flow of the controls and audio consistent rather than doubling back towards the bottom of the device after your flow leads you up to the top. With all that said, I feel fairly comfortable leaving this as a full 1 star. Okay, so let's get into the nitty-gritty here. Now, I've already addressed my expectations and original issues with how I thought this device would work better as a refill. To my surprise, after a bit of play, I realized why it was not made as a refill. Honestly, it makes more sense to make it as a rack extension rather than use cumbersome combinators that would require a minimum of 15 devices. You would need a sample player, distortion unit, CV LFO for vibrato, a Spider audio splitter, 2 Neptunes for pitch control, 2 times filters with envelope controls for each channel, CV LFO for filter cutoff control, mixer with level and pan controls and 4 aux effects sends, stereo widening through Haas effects, reverb, delay, and a phaser. By creating this as a rack extension, you have full control over all of these parameters in a much smaller package. Now, the thing that truly makes this device pretty interesting is the array of sampled instruments and the way they split into 2 audio signals that are then put through a filter. Meaning if you want that great sine wave bass with that lower octave being played through a bandpass filter with resonance, you can get it easily. A set of layered strings can easily be layered and filtered to taste in one device. Match that up with combining multiple Hydro devices together and you get a nice thick sound with lots of control and a small amount of time programming. The samples are all top notch with variety that gives you something for genres spanning dancehall to rock, a movie score to hip hop and more. Smash that all together and keep in mind this is a ROM based, or more accurately, a read-only sample based instrument, meaning you're generating sounds with a sample that uses RAM rather than CPU, giving you far less DSP use than your average device. So with some play, I easily decided this device excels very well with what could very easily be a tedious refill. And as such, it gets a full star. This was a device that many found alluring upon first look, and before they knew what it did or sounded like. The device is gorgeous with smart use of LEDs and a black futuristic yet very tactically feasible design. The color scheme is smart and just looks like it should be played with. Couple all this with how it looks among other devices in the rack and how all of your most tweakable knobs are large and in your face, you get a wonderful design. My only concern is the lack of a grill or cage for the rear fan, which could easily take off a finger or two. The Hydronexius is a very nice look at why you invest time into the look and design phase, and as such gets a full star. Now as far as price, I'm not even going to look at other VSTs or instruments like I usually do, but simply compare it to what we normally pay for when it comes to refills of such caliber. The reasoning behind this is the device is more accurately described as a sample playback device with no loading capabilities. So you would easily expect to pay well over $20 for a few patches using Reason's stock devices and between $25 to $50 for a good quality hyper-sampled combinator refill. With over 105 instruments available to load, $99 isn't unreasonable. In fact, it's a pretty good deal considering most propeller head refills aimed at one style or instrument type usually cost that or more. You're getting a couple gigabytes worth of sounds at a very reasonable amount, and I cannot ask for more than that. And for that reason, I'm giving this section a full star. What this all culminates to is this instrument gave me a full turnaround of my original opinion and earned itself 4.5 stars for its rating here. Not only did it earn my respect, but also my desire for purchase. All these sales have left me low on funds, but believe me when I tell you, I will own this device. It sounds great, uses little DSP, and is very easy to design with. Once again, I must appeal to DNA Labs and ask that they please add more CV in and out controls on the back of this device to truly make it stand out as it deserves to be. More controls for the chorus and phaser would also be appreciated, but I believe CV would easily be the standout here. Well, my question for you this week is, what is your favorite patch or instrument setting for Hydronexius? Please answer in the comments below. Like and subscribe if you like this video and want to see more of them. Once again, this is Fretless Fingers with ReasonExpert.com. Thank you for watching, and I will see you next time.